Today's arraignment confirmed that the feds have what they called voluminous evidence that they are going to start sharing with the defendants. It served as the basis for the indictment. Some of it we've seen with the recent production of ComEd. But what this also confirms is that what we've received from ComEd is just the tip of the iceberg. What we've seen in the ComEd documents directly refutes the speaker's excuses for what he's been doing with ComEd all these years. Chris Welch has stymied efforts to hold the speaker accountable. He's stymied efforts to try to get to the bottom of what is in these documents, what we know from the indictments. What we've seen from some of our Democratic colleagues is that some of them are finally starting to say publicly, we will have a better day in Illinois when we no longer are operating under the Mike Madigan regime as Speaker of the House. The time to make that happen, though, is really now. A member of his own leadership team recently came out and said, this is a matter of morals, of ethics. We agree that is the whole purpose of what the Special Investigating Committee is supposed to be looking at. Is he so morally compromised? Is he so ethically compromised that it's risen to the level of conduct unbecoming a legislator, such that our Illinois House cannot properly function anymore? And I think what we've seen is it can't function as long as Mike Madigan is the speaker in charge. The fact that Speaker Madigan has indicated that so many of these things to him don't actually strike him as a moral or ethical or potentially even legal problem is simply stunning in view of the materials that we have received from Commonwealth Edison. Here's just a few things that happened, for example, within a month in 2017. Mike McLean reaches out to Fidel Marquez about implementing SB 2814. Our friend called me about getting somebody put onto a variety of committees and that someone was going to probably get a favor in connection with implementing that legislation. A few weeks later, Mike McLean warns that Fidel Marquez had given the summer intern favor bank to his assistant. Quote, she has not been educated about our friend's pathway. And Mike McLean wants that fixed because he doesn't want to have anything interrupting the favors going to the speaker for internship programs. When we look, there was another email that same month talking about some individuals in an advisory committee under SB 2814. And he says, if she doesn't get this value, I know how this works. Sooner or later, he will go see our friend. I will get a call, and then I will be forced to ask for something more. Mike McLean says, would you please consider asking the lead on this plan to reach out to a particular person and maybe even place him on the advisory committee? So these are just more examples of ways that Mike Madigan was using ComEd as his own personal political playground. And that culture, that mentality has to end. There's so many things that are wrong with what is going on in Illinois. We know that things that the speaker has already represented to the members of the Special Investigating Committee are false or are refuted by the documents that ComEd has produced. They are false or are refuted, for example, by even statements in the indictment that could only have come from wiretaps of Mike McLean, where the feds expressly acknowledge that McLean and Madigan talked about these ComEd issues. So I certainly echo Leader Demmer's comment. If Mike Madigan is not going to come before this committee and be held accountable and answer questions so that we can do a proper investigation and get the sunshine on the truth and on the facts, then he must resign now so that we can actually start a new and better day for Illinois. Thank you.